What's up, everybody? Welcome to another Finance Friday. We've been going good, keeping up with it. Next week we're going to be talking about how to fill out a W-4 form properly. You know that form that you get and you have to fill it out when you first get a job and nobody knows how to do it. Yeah, that form. And even if you already have a job and have filled it out, fumbled your way through it, you still need to watch that video because you should be filling out that form at least once a year just to update and make sure you're not being taxed too much and you're not being undertaxed and end up with a big bill at the end of the year. So, with that said, let's get into today's video, which is should you file your own taxes? Under most circumstances, I think you should, and here's why. So, let's go take a look at our notes. So this should be a relatively short video. But basically, if you are a W-2 employee, meaning you just have a regular 9 to 5, you have one job, or maybe you have two or three, it doesn't matter. And you might be married with kids, you might own a home, you have some deductions there, but again, will they be more than the standard deduction? Maybe not. You know, if you have some rental properties or something, I think you still should file your own taxes because it's easy. All right, look, most tax preparers, the vast majority of them, 99% of them, are just using TurboTax, just like you can. And the thing about TurboTax is it walks you through everything step by step. Now let's see if mine is still up. I had mine up. Okay, so I'm not showing you everything, but you see this how it has personal info. It literally asks questions like, what is your name? What is your middle name? What's your last name? When's your birthday? Like it walks you through like a baby, which is good to really help you. I don't want to say quite understand your taxes, but it's just really you don't have to understand them to get them done correctly because it babies you the whole way through. It holds your hand, all right, and it does the same thing for them. So it doesn't kind of make sense to pay someone else to do that. I told a 19-year-old last week how to do it, and she picked it up really quick. She did her taxes in 10 minutes. She barely needed my help just with some of the questions they asked because the word she had never really seen before, but you know, if you do see something that you don't understand, it's easy to just click to the side, like it's always a little help menu there, and it'll explain what the question is asking you, all right? Or you could just Google the question. So I recommend most people at least try to do it on TurboTax first. The cool thing about TurboTax is it doesn't charge you anything up front. Now, if you are a regular W-2 employee and just have some kids, some dependents, and maybe a mortgage and some real basic stuff, it's free anyway. So it's not going to charge you anything. It might charge you state, which will generally range anywhere between $20 and $50, but that's it. And you still only pay after you file. All right, so when you're ready to file, that's when you pay. So you can prepare your taxes for free. And this is what I like to do. I used to go back and forth between TurboTax and H&R Block just to see who would give me the biggest refund. TurboTax always seemed to be the most comprehensive. That's why I'm recommending it to you guys. I don't get any money for recommending this. It's just what I've used for like the past 10 years. And so it's been good for me and easy for me. So this is what I recommend everybody use. In addition to that, I want to say this about tax preparers. Here's what's required to be a tax preparer in the majority of states. And by the majority of states, I mean 45 states in the United States. Here's what you have to do to become a tax preparer, all right? You have to wake up in the morning, sit up and say, I think I'll be a tax preparer now. And boom, just like that, you're a tax preparer. In most states, you don't even need to get your special tax preparer ID number. And if you do want to do that, all you got to do is go to the IRS and request one. And boom, that's it. It's no classes, it's no licenses. It's not like you need to have graduated from high school or anything, okay? Anyone can be a tax preparer. It's only 6, and maybe I think they changed it. Oh, it's about to log me out. I think maybe 5 states now that require you to actually take classes and get a license. But other than that, Anyone could be a tax preparer. So this is why you see so many people getting audited, because most tax preparers do not know what they're doing. Everyone who I know who's had their tax prepared by some random person has recently been audited because that person wasn't doing their taxes properly. Like I said before, the only person I know and I would ever recommend anyone go to get their taxes done is Eric, my friend Eric at Easy File. So I hope that alarms you enough to say, you know what, maybe I should try myself. There's no harm in trying. If you really get confused, okay, then go hire someone. But if it's, if you succeed at it, you succeed at it and you got it done for free or cheap and you learn something, okay? So always still try to go and prepare it yourself. I would say even prepare it yourself. Don't pay for it, but just prepare it. Go through upload your W-2 and all that just to see what your refund should be. And then see what your tax preparer brings back to you. If you still want to pay somebody else, just do it to make sure they're doing it right. You know what I mean? All right, so the other thing I want to say, let's go to our notes. I don't think we've even seen the notes yet in this video. So again, should you hire a tax preparer? I said if you're a W-2 employee, absolutely not. TurboTax is easy enough hat that it walks you through step by step. Now, I did want to address something else. If you are a W-2 employee and you do go to file your taxes and you use TurboTax and you find out that you owe, and see, here's the cool thing about TurboTax. It will let you know that this is possible. So let's say you go through and you owe. And you're like, oh man, what can I do? You can utilize a traditional IRA. If you haven't already been putting money into an IRA from work, you can do it now. The cool thing about this is you have until April 15, 2022 to put up to $6,000 in there, $7,000 if you're over 50, and it will apply to 2021's taxes. Amazing. So you can do that, and that will become tax deductible for you. Now, I know you might be saying, I don't have $6,000 or $7,000 lying around. It could be anything from $1 to $6,000 or $7,000 depending on your age. All right. Now, yes, you will not have immediate access to this money. It's a traditional IRA is a retirement account. And the reason why I keep saying a traditional IRA and not an IRA is because there are different types of IRAs. There's a traditional and then there's a Roth. You want to put it in a traditional IRA. Traditional IRAs are tax deductible. Now, again, like I said, I know you may be thinking, well, I can't access that money. I'm going to be penalized if I take it out. Yes, you would. But what would you rather? Give the money to the government and it's completely gone forever, or give it to your future self or a child or something if you don't live to see that money? At least you keep it in the family. You see what I mean? So that is an option. And for that, if you want to play around with that, and again, the cool thing about TurboTax is you don't necessarily have to do the IRA yet. You can just go in and say, well, yes, I do have an IRA and this is what I put in. And it will still tell you, and then it will tell you whether that amount was sufficient to make you not owe. Hopefully that makes sense. You could pretend that you did put money into an IRA, whatever you had. Let's say you only had $500 or $1,000 to put into it, and you can put that on your TurboTax return while you're preparing it to see whether that will benefit you or not. Because if it doesn't benefit you, you say, okay, well, I just won't do that. And if it does benefit you, then you can say, okay, well, let me go set one up. All right. Now, for that, I would recommend Ameritrade. Again, it's a bunch of different companies, Merrill Edge or Merrill, whatever, they have one, and they're going to bait you in by saying, we'll give you $600. Don't fall for that. You need to put in $200,000 to do that. If you put in 20 grand, they'll give you $100. And that doesn't make sense because the limit is only up to 6,000 or 7,000 depending on your age. So nonsense. So yeah, I would recommend Ameritrade. I've been using Ameritrade for maybe 8 years now, and I like them. So again, I don't get paid for any of this. Ameritrade's not paying me. It's just, I'm going to give you my personal experiences, and I like Ameritrade. I haven't had any issues with them. So I'll leave a link to this page, and again, it kind of walks you through. You would click traditional IRA. I can make another video going over these different ones: traditional, Roth, and rollovers. It's quite simple what they are. But then it'll explain to you, everything here. See, you can contribute up to $6,000 or $7,000 if you're 50 or older for 2021, 2022. Contribution may be tax deductible. IRS penalties apply before age 59 and a half, and so forth. Y'all can read. And then you just open one up. That's it. And that's only if you were over here at TurboTax and it shows you that, yes, that would benefit you. Finally, moving on, the other thing you could do to help with your tax situation, it won't do anything for you for 2021 because that's gone, other than this IRA, which I want to pause real quick. I forgot something. The traditional IRA is also what's called an above the line deduction. So if you're married or let's say you're single and you have this $12,500 standard deduction. Remember, we learned about this 2 videos ago. Whatever you put into an IRA stacks on top of that. So if you did put $1,000 in there, now you have a $13,500 deduction. Okay, so that's what makes putting money into IRAs super cool. Okay, so now the last thing I wanted to say is what you can do to modify how much you owe or get back or whatever on your taxes. And remember, the goal is to come as close to zero as possible. Now, you can get more in tax credits and stuff like that, but the idea is really to be close to zero. That's really the goal, not to get a refund. If you got a refund, you paid too much throughout the year. Now, the other thing you can do is fill out your W-4 form properly. And again, that's going to be next week's video. I'll link to it if it's been weeks that you can see it here. But next week, we're going to talk about how to fill out a W-4 form properly. And this is something that really people don't understand. You can make so much more money at your job filling out your W-4 form properly. So with that said, that's it for today's video. If you guys have any questions, let me know in the comments, and I will answer them there, and I'll see you guys next time.